We recently flew from Zurich to Naples for 5 days. Our plan was to visit the archaeological site of Pompeii, visit the Vesuvius National Park, and drive along the Amalfi coast. As it was spring break in Switzerland, there was quite a lot of people at the airport, all these people here lining up for check-in. For this trip, we tried packing light. Each kid carried their own backpack with all their clothes and their iPad. Remy carried his stuff in a big backpack, and I also had a backpack with the carry-on for my clothes, the raincoats, and all the other things that we would be needing. On day 1, we woke up to a beautiful sunny day. We had booked our Airbnb at the end of the Amalfi coast in a town called Vietri sul Mare, considered to be the gateway to the Amalfi coast. From our patio, we had great views of the ocean and into Vietri. We decided to head into town and to discover the beach. Right at the entrance to town, we found these great ceramic shops where we went looking for souvenirs. Lemons and donkeys are popular motifs and are symbols of the town and the surrounding area. The town was very cute and a little touristy, but not very crowded when we were there. We just strolled along the narrow streets and had some snacks and did some shopping. There are also some famous churches and a ceramics museum. These rock formations along the coast are called the Two Brothers Rocks. We found this great spot at the beach and we went for a swim. The beach wasn't crowded at all, but this was in mid-April. I can imagine that they cleaned it up for summer and lay out some beach chairs and other touristy accessories. Our kids are always happy if there are some spots for catching crabs. The next day was also really warm and sunny, so we decided to take a ferry over to Minori to walk the path of the lemons. There are 6 ferries daily from Vietri, and the ride to Minori costs €7 and takes about 25 minutes. You can buy your tickets ahead of time online or directly at the port. If you wanted to go all the way to Positano, it would cost €15 and take an hour and 15 minutes. We were a bit worried about our kids getting seasick, but luckily the water was calm. I would really recommend the ferry as it's such a beautiful way to view the coast. When in Minori, you have to try the famous lemon delight or delizia al limone. It's so delicious. The path of the lemons, or the Sentiero dei Limone, is 2 kilometers long and takes about an hour and a half one way. The path is mainly one big staircase with over 400 steps, but there are lots of views along the way to distract you from the burning in your legs. Also, the kids enjoyed counting all the steps. Luckily, there are signs along the way in case you lose count. There's another famous walkway along the Amalfi coast called the Path of the Gods, which is really popular. It's much longer than the Path of the Lemons and involves taking a bus to and from the trailhead. I'm glad we chose this more family-friendly option that can be reached by ferry. Here we are looking down into Minori and where we disembarked the ferry. From this vantage point, you can see down to the next town of Maiori, and all along the trail there are the lemon orchards that give the trail its name. Along the trail, some families open up their gardens and offer lemonade and snacks. We decided we should try some local lemonade. It's not as sweet as lemonade you might be used to in the US or in Canada. There were mixed reviews from the kids. No complaints here. From here, the trail descends into Maiori, and we found a nice spot along the way to eat our lunch. As it was still quite early in the day, we caught the bus going to Amalfi. If you're thinking of taking the bus, you'll need to purchase your tickets ahead of time online, as there are no machines at the bus stop and the driver is also not selling the tickets. We didn't actually have enough time to explore Amalfi on this day, as the ferry was just about to leave. As we often find in Italy, it always seems really unorganized and chaotic, but always seems to work out in the end. When we woke up on day 3, it was raining and cold, but by the time we got to Pompeii, it had stopped. We did not purchase tickets in advance, and I had heard it can get quite busy at the ticket booth, with some accounts citing wait times of up to 3 hours. We walked right up to the booth, and there was no one else in line. We arrived at 9:45 in the morning. There are many tour options available in Pompeii, and these can be arranged ahead of time or upon arrival. We did not go with the tour option, as they're not always very suitable for kids. There is an app available called My Pompeii, which I had downloaded ahead of time. There's no Wi-Fi on site though, so you have to use your roaming unless you have an all-included package. The app has an interactive map with some points of interest that you can click on, and it will give you some details about the building or area you're in. You can read the details or listen to them, and there's even an option to listen to the kids' version. While the idea of the app is really good, the execution could be improved. The interactive map did not always work, and we didn't find the kids' version to be that different to the regular one. Next time we'll try an organized tour. Here we are in the amphitheater, one of the oldest from Roman times. It was large enough to hold 20,000 people. This was one of the highlights from Pompeii for us. These are some of the casts they made of the villagers who died during the eruption. On our way out, we visited the large theater. We were getting hungry, and after looking around for some food without any luck, we decided to go to one of the restaurants outside the gate. Unfortunately, once you go out, you can't get back in. passed the Forum, where a lot of tours had gathered. It was about 1 in the afternoon. And this is the route we took through Pompeii. It took us almost 4 hours, and we only saw about a quarter of it. After visiting Pompeii, we decided to pack a picnic and drive along the Amalfi coast. We stopped again in Amalfi and went in this time to explore. We ate our picnic at the beach, watching the sunset. Day 4 was cold and overcast again. We drove to Herculaneum to visit the nearby Virtual Archaeological Museum. On the way to the museum, you can get a pretty good look at the ruins of Herculaneum. The Virtual Museum gives more details into how people lived at the time of the eruption. Again, it was a really great idea and we did learn a lot, but the technical aspects could have been better. After the museum, we had lunch in town and went for a drive along the Sorrento Peninsula, where we had some great views of Naples and Mount Vesuvius. Another warm and sunny day for our hike up Vesuvius. To enter the national park, you need to purchase a ticket online. There are a lot of tour companies offering tickets, and these usually include a bus ride from Naples or Pompeii. We purchased our tickets directly from the national park website. Book ahead though, because they sell out fast. It took us about 40 minutes to climb to the top and read all the informational signs along the way. While the path is quite steep, I would say it's manageable for most people. At the summit, there are a few vantage points allowing you to look down into the crater. You can also see some steam coming out of the vents along the sides. The lookout to the surrounding area is spectacular. From here you can see Naples, the Bay of Naples, the islands of Capri, and the Sorrento Peninsula. There are a few snack bar cum souvenir shops at the top, offering cold drinks and wine. What a perfect spot for some bubbly. And then it was already time to go home. What a fun way to spend a few days in Napoli.